Hey guys, Nick here, and before we get into the battles, I want to let you know about something I didn't know yesterday. If you grab one of these starter decks in the shop, you actually get to keep all of the cards that it has. So I used that to get my second Giratina, and that allowed me to complete this meta deck that you've probably seen if you've been playing ranked battles. Um, I got up to Great Ball using the deck that I showed off yesterday. But in Great Ball and beyond, that deck falls off a little bit. It's a little harder to use because you start to see a lot of this deck right here. This deck is great because it doesn't really revolve too much around luck like that other deck does. And there's something really good, almost overpowered about Giratina EX, which is that it doesn't mind going first because it can already start using its ability to gain energy. So I've got a few battles here to show you in this video, and you could either just watch this for fun, or if you want, you can see how I play this deck to win. So in this first battle, I'm going up against a water deck. Usually when I see Manaphy, I'm expecting to see Palkia, but this guy has a Wiglet, so I'm guessing he's going to try to be using Wugtrio. This is the only time I've really even seen anyone try this combination of cards. I am kind of just playing around it in a way where I'm just getting all my energy onto Giratina each turn, and because that ends your turn when he uses ability, before I do that, I'm putting in energy onto Darkrai and doing that. So he did put the giant cape on his Manaphy. He's trying to just use it to generate as much energy as possible before it goes down. Before this new expansion came out, I was using Palkia EX a lot, but I think now that a lot of the new cards have been added, I actually think the Palkia EX deck has been power crept to the point where it's almost unusable. These new decks are just so fast paced compared to it. Even if you get the perfect opening, uh, it's still hard to win with that deck against these new cards. So here I'm deciding what to do. I still have full health on my Giratina, and I'm just deciding what to do. I normally want to save the Rocky Helmet for Druddigon. However, this game I'm deciding to put it on my Giratina so that when he inevitably attacks with that Wiglet, or if it evolves to Wugtrio, he'll take at least a little damage from doing that. And I'm doing my last Bellow there. So next turn I'll actually be able to attack him. And he uses Pokemon Center Lady, which will get him back up to full HP. And he puts another energy on Wiglet. Now here, what I do, I'm pretty sure I have Sabrina. Yep. And the Manaphy isn't a threat at all. The Wiglet's the only one that can do damage. I want to take it out before it can evolve, and he realizes it's time to concede. So, I mean, that battle was pretty easy to win. He got an unfortunate starting hand, and mine wasn't too bad. So here we go in for another one. And if I remember correctly, this next one is much more exciting. He does have a silly username. So here we go. In this battle, I'm going first again, which, as long as you start with Giratina, you really actually almost prefer going first. This is like one of the only decks that likes to go first. He has an interesting opening. He's starting with Skarmory. Skarmory, I did run it on the deck I showed off yesterday a little bit. It's just a little too inconsistent, but basically the way Skarmory works is if you put a Pokemon tool onto it, then it will do additional damage with its attack. So for 1 energy, it can get up to where it's doing 50 damage, or more if you power it up with another card. So it's a pretty good deal for 1 energy. But Skarmory is pretty weak, can be taken out in 1 hit by a lot of attacks. And it's just not as good as some other steel type cards, in my opinion. So I start out by putting the Golden Cape onto Giratina because I'm anticipating some damage from him. And of course, he starts with a Pokemon tool as well. The Giant Cape's probably the best item to put on Skarmory because it gives it a little extra health. And he's already ready to do a lot of damage to me. Alright, so I get Darkrai here. And I'm already knowing that this is going to be a tricky battle because he's already outputting big damage and my Pokemon take a few turns to get set up. So I use Sabrina to force him out into Magnemite. And I use that as a chance to get off another Bellow. And now if he wants to switch back into Magnemite, he's going to have to waste that energy. Is the best play I could see there. So he switches back into Skarmory and uses Pokemon Research, which is, again, like it's like the best card in the game. I forget if I said that yesterday, but Professor Research it literally goes on every deck. If you have it in your hand, it's a pretty good card to play. Sorry, he just did 50 more damage to my Giratina. At this point, I'm at 70 HP. And I need at least 1 more Bellow. So I used the Pokemon Center Lady to heal up a bit. But I am anticipating this to be a little tricky. I put an energy on the Giratina. Or I think about putting it on Giratina, but I put it on Darkrai. And I do my last Bellow here so that on the next turn, I will be able to attack. And even if he does another big hit to me, at least I'll be able to take his Skarmory out. And then the other 2 Pokemon aren't really set up. And by now, my Darkrai is almost ready to start doing some damage also. He brings in Heatran, and he does 50 more damage to my Giratina. So he's threatening to take it out on the next turn. I use the Pokeball to get another card in my hand. I get Druddigon. And Druddigon is a good card to have on the bench. In this deck, you're not actually ever attacking with it. You're just using it for its ability, the Rough Skin ability. And it's basically like a punching bag. You switch into Druddigon to take hits for you, since if every time it gets hit, it will do damage to them. So I get up to just enough energy and I knock out the Skarmory, which was the only thing outputting any damage. And he's got another Skarmory, a Magnemite, and a Heatran. He goes to bring in his other Skarmory, and I'm fully expecting him to put a Pokemon tool on this one and take out my Giratina, which he does. This time he puts the Rocky Helmet on. And so now he's able to take out my Giratina, but I was at least able to take out 1 point, and I should be able to revenge kill this Skarmory with my Darkrai. So he does use Sabrina here, which I thought was a really bad play by him. He should have just taken out my Giratina, but I guess he just overthought that play. By him switching out my Giratina, I'm able to bring in my Druddigon and have it take damage when it attacks me. So now he only has 40 HP, and my Giratina is on the bench. So I'm able to do 20 more damage with Darkrai. Now Darkrai is ready to attack, and I'm thinking about ending my turn, and I realized he actually really should not have used Sabrina there. Now he doesn't have a good move. In chess, we call this Zugzwang. I'm going to go ahead and call it Zugzwang here, too. Like, he doesn't have a good move because next turn, I'm going to bring in my Darkrai, finish him off with adding an energy to it, and then I'm going to take out whatever he brings in next. Or if he brings in Heatran, I still have my Giratina to take it out. So he's obviously thinking here because there's like almost no move. And he decides to use Sabrina again to try to undo his mistake. And so I bring in my Darkrai that has nothing on it yet. Because I would rather take damage on this one than on the one that's actually able to attack. And I got my other Giratina in my hand. And I'm pretty sure what I did here, yeah, I just go ahead and put an energy onto this. Finish off the Skarmory. And then see which one he's going to bring in. Of course, it's likely he's going to bring in the Heatran. And I still haven't used my supporter card this turn. So because he didn't take out my Giratina when he could have, I'm able to use Leaf, switch out Darkrai, and bring in Giratina, which still has 30 HP. So even after the recoil, it'll still have 10 HP left. So I'm able to use its move and take out Heatran. So as you can see, this deck, even when you get off to kind of a tricky start, it has all the tools you need to still win, and there's no coin flips going on, which I really like about this deck. I did put a Team Rocket Grunt card on here just in case I need to undo some energy tempo by the opponent. So in this game, we get a mirror match, and knowing how to play the mirror match is really important because you're going to see a lot of this deck. And this battle, I got off to not a great start. I start off with only Darkrai, which is kind of the worst card to start with. I decided to put Giant Cape on it, so it's able to take a little more damage. I use Professor's Research, trying to get some more cards, and I only get my other Darkrai. For now, I decided to just keep that Darkrai in my hand because I don't yet know what I want on the bench, and he's not threatening to take me out in one hit. So he's got his other Darkrai on his bench. And what he decides to do is he starts to decide to put energy on his Darkrai that he has on the bench. And also Bellow with his Giratina. So he is playing pretty well. I put my Giratina on the bench, though, where it will be able to Bellow. And I use Professor's Research again, trying to get some more cards to play with. This deck has a lot of supporter cards, so you're prepared for a lot of different situations. I go ahead and put the second energy on a Darkrai, bring him down to 100 HP, and decide to finish my turn with a Bellow. So next turn, I actually am threatening to take him out by putting the third energy onto Darkrai and then using its attack. But my Darkrai is getting a little bit weak, and he'll be able to take it out soon. So he uses a potion here, which brings him up to 120, which is a little bit annoying, but that's why I put red on this deck. I actually just got red there. Because red will let you do an additional 20 damage. I'm debating putting the Rocky Helmet on Giratina, even though it's mostly for Druddigon, and that actually ended up being a pretty good play for later on in the battle. So here I see the chance to knock him out by putting that energy on. Now I'm able to use red, power up my attack, do exactly 100 HP, and take him out. And he is still like in a better position slightly, even though I got the first knockout. He should be able to revenge kill me with his Giratina. It's already got the 3 psychic energies on it, so he's ready to just put a dark energy on it and knock me out. But for some reason, he puts it onto Darkrai instead of onto his Giratina. Maybe he just made that play really fast, but that was the wrong play here. So you'll see in every battle here, I'm seeing clear chances where the opponent could have made a better move. I'm expecting as I get higher in the rankings, there will be less and less of this. But yeah, he starts to think here for a long time. He probably realizes he made a mistake. Now, his move there was really good if he had Dawn, because then he could transfer the energy to Giratina and knock me out. He sees another path, though. He uses red himself, and he's going to knock me out that way. And he puts a cape onto Darkrai. So actually it wasn't that bad of a play, but I thought the more straightforward move would have been just to put the energy on a Giratina. So all right, so now his Darkrai is on the field with 160 HP and it's ready to attack, and my Giratina is slightly behind on tempo. So I decide to put my other Darkrai out to tank some hits. I get the Pokemon Center Lady, which is nice. And I use Sabrina to have him bring in one of his Giratinas because I don't want to take a hit from his Darkrai. And I start chipping away at it with Darkrai's ability. And I finish the turn by using a Bellow. So now I can't actually see the screen because I'm recording on my phone again. But I think I'm at my 3rd Bellow on Giratina. So it's ready to come in and do an attack. He uses Leaf and brings back in his Darkrai, which, yeah, it's kind of annoying because I want him to have his Giratina on the field because the Darkrai can actually attack me. Because he already used Leaf, he can't also use Red this turn, so I know I'm going to be able to at least do one more turn. And I get Leaf there, which is really good. So now I'm in a tricky spot because his Darkrai is essentially unassailable. The most damage I can do is powered up by red, do 150 with Giratina. So I use Cyrus to pull back in his Giratina. I'm really hoping he doesn't have another Leaf, and I use Darkrai's ability to do a little more damage to his Giratina, and then I actually just hard retreat into Giratina and use the final Bellow there. So now if he's not able to retreat this turn, or if he actually even if he does retreat, I can take, which he does, I can take a little bit of damage on my Giratina because it's still full HP. And because I put that Rocky Helmet on it earlier, he's going to do 20 HP to himself for attacking me. So that Rocky Helmet ended up being really useful. So he does chip damage with the ability, and then he does 100 damage, but he takes 20 damage to himself. And now I am in full position to win the game here by using red to power up my attack, and he concedes. So that was a tricky mirror match. And as you can see, there was a lot of thinking involved in that game. That was a fun game. And here we're going to get into the next battle, which, if I remember correctly, this is another mirror match. You're going to see, like I said, a lot of mirror matches because this is the main meta deck This time I'm going second. I think in most of these battles I went first. Like I said earlier, this deck actually kind of prefers to go first. But it's still not bad to go second. So I put Giratina out first, and Darkrai behind. He opens with Draudigon, which is the preferred card to put out first. Because the main way this deck does damage is with the passive damage from Darkrai while you're powering it up and then bellowing with Giratina until it's ready to do damage. So he gets the full setup here on turn 1. All he needs is a Rocky Helmet on his Draudigon, and he's in pretty much the perfect spot, and he gets it. So this is pretty much the most difficult position to play from with this deck, is the mirror match where they get the perfect setup. So here's how I handle it. So I'm pretty sure I just put an energy on Darkrai and Bellow, but before I do that, I use Professor's Research. I get my Draudigon, which is nice. Go ahead and put that on the field. And I'm already thinking if I get Leaf, then I want to put that Draudigon out front. I get my other Darkrai. I wait to put that on the field because I don't know if later I might want to put in my other Giratina instead. And I go ahead and do some chip damage and then Bellow. And that will end my first turn. I don't want to attack Draudigon at all because it's really just taking damage for every time I hit it. I'd rather just knock it out completely with chip damage from Giratina. So he does a similar play to me, pretty much the exact same play. He uses Professor's Research, chip damages me, and then uses a Bellow, I'm pretty sure. And going into the next turn, I pull red, which is nice. I might want it as an option later, but I use Professor's Research again, and that's decent. I've got, if I want to use Giratina instead, I've got options to basically guarantee that I pull it. But I don't really need any more Pokemon. What I really wanted to pull there was Leaf. So I wanted Leaf and a Rocky Helmet. That would have been the best pull. Then I could switch out Giratina and put Draudigon in. So I decided to put in my other Giratina on the bench. Because I'm already foreseeing that this Giratina that's out front has taken perhaps a little bit too much damage and might not be able to do what I wanted to do. This play took me a while to decide what to do, but I ultimately just do the chip damage, and I think I bellow with the one that's in the active spot, but I considered bellowing with the one that's on the bench. But I figured neither one of us has any points yet, and I'm hoping that the way this will go down is I'll knock him out and he'll knock me out. And then we'll go into the next round. So he has me down to 110 HP, and he's now got all the energy he needs on his Giratina to switch it in. I pull that Rocky Helmet, and I consider putting it on Giratina, but I put it on Draudigon. I'm still hoping that I pull Leaf, but I still don't have Leaf. And sometimes you're going to have battles like this where you don't get the cards that you really want, so you have to come up with another play. I'm actually considering just a hard retreat, but I know that it'll just put me so far behind on energy tempo. So I forget what I did. I did Sabrina to try to get him to see what he does, basically. And he brings in Darkrai instead of his Giratina. So because he did that, I am thinking again. And I go ahead and use hold on, what did I do? Yeah, I go ahead and switch into Darkrai, my own Darkrai, with full HP, do a little chip damage, and I'm basically just, and I'm ready to attack him, so I attack him. Sorry, I'm having to kind of remember what I did because, like I said, I can't see the full screen while I'm doing this recording. But yeah, right there, I just switch into Darkrai and attack him. Now, he has 40 HP. I'm threatening to take out his Darkrai, and his Druddigon's on low health. So I'm basically going to be just playing around his Giratina. Right there, he uses an Iono, which I get a Leaf now. So actually that Iono helped me, which is why I took Iono out of the deck, and I put Team Rocket Grunt instead. Because that whole time I was hoping that I would get Leaf, and I didn't have it. And maybe I would have pulled it on the next turn, but that Iono gave it to me. So now I'm in a pretty good position to win this battle. So I use the Pokemon Center Lady on Giratina just to get it up to a range where it'll hopefully be able to take just one hit for me. And I'm debating if I want to take some damage by removing this Druddigon, or if I want to try waiting, stalling. I think what I did here is I went ahead and attacked him. And I took some damage, but I was thinking like, okay, I take out his Druddigon, he brings in something. Even if he takes out my Darkrai, I can revenge take him out. But actually what I did is I switched back into Druddigon. I forgot I did that. And so now I start bellowing on my full HP Giratina, which ended up being a good play. He Sabrina's the Druddigon, and now I bring in the full HP Giratina, which can definitely take a hit. And he does some chip damage to it. I think the reason I was doing this is because I wanted my main Giratina to definitely be able to take a hit. I get red there, and I think I could have won this battle sooner, actually, but let's see, what did I do here? I used Leaf to switch back into to Druddigon, which is only worth 1 reward point. And if he attacks it, he's going to damage himself. And I go ahead and do some chip damage and bellow on the full HP Giratina. I'm wanting to get that Giratina into attacking position since the other one has some damage on it. And next turn, I'm threatening to take out the Druddigon. And because my Druddigon's out front, and I think he's already used all of his Sabrinas, he doesn't have an easy way to remove Druddigon from the field other than attacking it. So, yeah, there's a lot of pivoting in this battle. So he does some chip damage to it. The only way he can damage it without taking damage himself. And let's wait and see what he did. He uses Cyrus to pull back in my lower HP Giratina but this one is ready to attack. So that was actually a mistake by him, I'm pretty sure. Because now I'm pretty sure I can just see. Let's see. I don't want to say I did something else again. Let's wait and see what I did. If I could see the full screen, I could remember what I did, but I can't see it. Yeah, so I do the obvious. I chip damage to take out his Drudagon, and now he's in a tight spot because whatever he brings in, it's EX Pokemon, so it's worth the final 2 reward points I need. I forget if at this point I had enough energy on Giratina. I'm assuming I didn't because I thought for so long here. I do my final Bellow. So now he has 1 turn to do damage to me. And if he had red here, he could have won the battle because he could have done 150 damage to me. Well, actually, still, it's only worth 2 points. He doesn't have any yet. So he knocks out my Giratina, but I was already setting up the other one, and my Darkrai is ready to attack now. And I have Cyrus, I'm pretty sure. So I think what I did is I Cyrus to pull in his Darkrai, yeah, and then I finish him off with the Dark Prism from my own Darkrai. So yeah, this battle was a really fun one for me. This one was pure strategy because we both had the same deck, minus I think he had Iono and I had Team Rocket Grunt, but I never even used Team Rocket Grunt. Anyways, that is me showcasing the meta deck. I will, in case you don't know the composition yet, I'll show you the composition that I used at the end of this video here. Thanks so much for watching. I will likely be making more of these videos because I have so much fun doing battles. Thanks.